Right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Bug Squash. So today, sorry, bad way to start the recording. Was thinking about something else. So hello, everyone, and welcome to our Dalmatian mid cycle. So I think it's the first time in a while that we do, or if not the first time that I remember, we do a mid cycle in the in the previous years. So yeah, very happy to have it here to be here with you and to go over a couple of topics that we discussed on the PTG and get some get some updates and also cover our collaborative reviews. So for today, we will be focusing on a couple of topics that I propose here. For example, some AIs from our previous PTG retrospective, the upstream events for the cycle, and also trying to propose some dates for the next bug squash. We agreed we should do two bug squashes for a release. We've done the first, but we'll do a second one, and I would like to collect some feedback. Also, talk about some feature work and the features that made it to feature proposal freeze, and what should we what should be our focus for that. And also, then later go to the collab review session. So this first part, I will pretty much work on getting these into a single recording, and then every single collab review session will have their own recording, but they will all be grouped in a YouTube playlist. So if you are watching the recordings, please check out the collaborative review sessions. They are all of them are going to be grouped within a single YouTube playlist. So without further ado, I think I would like to start with some action items from the previous PTG. I think we had only a few from like the retrospective, and the first of them is having a mid cycle. So yeah, here you are. And yeah, we it's pretty much a measure so we can ensure that the topics we brought up at the PTG are being addressed, are in progress, or try to get some status from the people that proposed the topics during the PTG. Scheduled the collab reviews earlier in the cycle. So for this cycle, we had something a bit different to what we um, usually did in the past, which was instead of expecting the collab reviews to be proposed by every author, we are trying to enforce that through the Manila Feature Proposal Freeze milestone. In this case, we said like collaborative review sessions should or must be proposed by the feature proposal freeze, so we can speed up the review process. We said that, but then we were pretty much organizing the mid cycle, and it would be like also a very good opportunity to use the time to go over some features as well. So that's pretty much some of the things that we will do today. Yeah, adding the Manila deadlines to the schedule, and also yeah, making the feature proposal freeze a deadline for proposing a collab review alongside. Also, like this is a result already for what we discussed on this action item. And yeah, announcing the Bug Squash Hackathon's collab reviews earlier so that more people can have time to prepare for it. Yeah, I think the first Bug Squash I didn't do a very good job on that. I announced it like 1 week earlier, and I think 2 weeks would be ideal. Yeah, this mid cycle we've managed to get the word out a bit earlier. So yeah, there are a couple of other action items for us for this from the PTG, but I think most of them are pretty much like feature related. And then we talked about a bunch of other features and so on. But I think the thing here would be, like the action items from the features and specs and stuff like that. We can pretty much discuss them over the collab review sessions, and we can take a look at them separately. There are a couple of others, like, and they are also like features that didn't make it. For example, drafting or start getting started on some features like I think we discussed also GHSS true for Ceph for the Ceph drivers. I think we still have plenty of time for that. We don't have a spec up for that yet, but I mean, we will only be discussing. I think it's a better use of our time if we keep discussing all of the items that we are planning for this cycle and getting progress to what we want to accomplish on the cycle, and then we can leave these other topics for further discussion at the BTG. So if you guys agree with that, and if you would like to bring up any other topics, please let me know. Happy to discuss them. But yeah, I think no one else brought up other topics here, so yeah, I think we can pretty much use that plan for now. Do you have any questions and any other suggestions from AIs and other things that you remember that I didn't bring up? Okay, taking silences though. Um, so let's cover the upstream events for the cycle for a bit. So the first event we had was Bug Squash, and it was focused on in progress bugs. We've had a couple of bugs being closed as a result of that, but I think that's like one difficulty that we've encountered was a lot of the people, a lot of the assignees on this list, they are no longer working in the OpenStack team, or they are their main focus on isn't currently OpenStack. So a couple of these we will need to move assignees, but there were lots of changes from this list that like were rebased, and there is some discussion going on. So we see some improvements on the changes, and we see the changes moving, but like it's being a bit slow because we are trying to get the reviews going, and also some other authors to take on a couple of changes that are currently on the list but not actively being worked on. And yeah, mid-cycle today and tomorrow. And for our second bug squash, I think we have like pretty much a tight schedule for this time, because we have R5, which is feature freeze, and it is in I think 15 days from now, something like that, or a bit more. And it's like feature freeze and client release, but also like the RC1 target week. It's 2 weeks after that, which gives us like little time for doing the bug squash. So in the week after, sometimes we are still focused on like a couple of changes, and sometimes feature uh, we have features that would take more time to merge. So we take exceptions for those, and in those cases of exceptions, like we try to target them for this week. So historically, if you check like things that we have been scheduling, I try to never schedule like bug squashes for this week, because there is a chance that people will not be focused on the bug squash and will still be to uh, trying to get closure for their changes. So and I was thinking we could use the first 2 days of the RC1 target week to kind of like try to close more bugs and use like 2 days of this week for a bug squash, because I mean we will have like a buffer week after the August 30 deadline. Of course, I would love not to have any feature freeze exceptions. There are few cycles that we managed to do not have them, but in some others we just could not. So I'm hoping this cycle we won't need any feature freeze exceptions, and we can use like merge the features in time, and this will just like be a buffer week. We can take some time, observe the CIs, and ensure that all of the features are working just fine and nothing is failing. We won't ship like any broken code, and then we can work on some bugs. So the idea is September 9th and 10th, we would have our bug squash. I think I'm not sure if there are like many major holidays for like some locations like the US for those dates. I forgot to check that. I think for me, no. Like the holiday I have is August 7th. Oh, sorry, September 7th. So yeah, it's a weekend. I won't get any replacements for those holidays, so I would be around. But I would like to know if like everyone is on board with these dates. If you think it's reasonable. Otherwise, yeah. Otherwise, we can pretty much reschedule this to another date. What do you guys think about these dates?
Clear in the US states.
Okay.
Yeah, it should be good. So you're saying this is the RC1 target week as well, right? 9th to 13th.
Yes, that's the exact week from RC1. Um, yeah, so trying to get it early because, as I said, like we can use this week as a buffer. I hope and fingers crossed we don't need it. But yeah, so then September 9th and 10th sounds good to everyone. We can, like have one or two sessions for the bug squash and try to get as many bugs closed as possible before RC1. I think that would help us to get a couple more items for us to ship and some more cloud operators happy. Yeah, so I will go ahead and I think I can still add this to the official agenda. And yeah, let's do that. Okay, so as per it's this is going to be pretty much a recap. Now I'm getting closer on the upstream events for this cycle and getting into like some feature work that we are doing. So a quick recap. We had two specs being merged on this cycle, and the two changes related to the spec, two code changes related to spec, they are being worked on. The first one is forwarding. I pretty much used a different name. That's not exactly the name that's in the spec, but it's pretty much forwarding the metadata updates to the shared drivers. Kiran worked on that very quickly. Not only the spec, but also the code implementation. It, in fact, already has +2 from Hikesen, and I was looking at the change earlier today, and I also did took a look in the last week. It looks good to me. So I think it's a good time for us to go ahead and share some more feedback. I think there's this is still related to a topic, so let me take a look at it. Yeah, so this is the change I'm talking about. So it already has a +2 from Hikesen, and I also shared some thoughts on this change before Girish also had and also Maurice. So thank you everyone for reviewing it. Yeah, it's looking close. So my ask for this change would be pretty much uh, if you haven't looked at it yet, or if you have already, please get back to it because I think it's pretty close to be merged. The comments were quickly addressed, and Kiran's been waiting for the reviews on this change. So let's try to get this change moving. Yeah, we discussed about having a possible collab review for this, but the changes, like there aren't a lot of big changes being done here. It's like it's um, the code is pretty much understandable, and there aren't like major components being touched, so we don't think there is the need to do a collab review for this because I mean it's a 250 line change and it's pretty much like the usual code that we touch. So if you could please take a look at this change, it would be uh, very much appreciated. And yeah, the next one is ensure shares the specs being merged. The code's being worked on. CI testing is going to be difficult, and I'll be talking about that later on. But yes, we will have time to discuss this, like CI testing and so on. So now I think we had one new driver. which is already merged. So yeah, thank you to all of the reviewers. That was really nice to see. Like it's a lot of code, and we managed to get closure for that early in the cycle. So very nice to get that merged, and it's one less thing for us to worry about on feature freeze. But on the other hand, we have plenty of things in the list already. So in the last week's meeting, I was talking about the features that like we were targeting for feature proposal freeze, and I think we have a full list now from all of the features that are being worked on and that we can target. I think NetApp engineers, they reached out and talked about like possibly leaving the backup type enhancements for later on, because there's a lot going on their side as well. So yeah, but in the other hand, we still have like plenty changes from the NetApp team. So some features we are targeting for feature proposal freeze, or we were targeting for feature proposal freeze, and I think it's kind of feasible to get them in for feature freeze. Yeah, share encryption is being proposed a while ago, also being worked by Kiran. It hasn't received a lot of reviews, so the collab review today is going to be really useful for us to get this moving. Uh, Passing metadata updates to the backend drivers and the NetApp driver related change. I think we are really close. And yeah, I pretty much talked about it already. Export location metadata. We had an outreach intern in the past working on it, and Ashley picked up the work that he left. He managed to get it to a certain point, so now we are trying to get closure for it. So the thing is, Ashley is pursuing this feature for this cycle, and that's it's gonna follow the same structure as the other metadata changes, and like our attempts to keep adding metadata to more resources because it's helpful for a couple of them. NetApp snap lock support for the NetApp driver. This is pretty much related to the warm support. So I was looking at it earlier last week, I think, and I think the two changes, they seem to be a bit related. So let's keep them together. And yeah, I think this is another one that I didn't add to the list, but I'll do it right now. Yeah. So another candidate for feature fees that was proposed in time. I got confused with those. And uh, yeah, custom storage efficiency policy support for Manila share. Also, SnapLock support for NetApp driver. Manage shares for in snapshots for the SFFS and NFS drivers, and ensure shares. So, did I miss any feature? Any? I think I looked over Garrett, and I think I don't missed anything. I mean, this is not all of the bugs that we are targeting as well. There are a lot of bugs that we can close as well, and some other RFEs that are quick related to bugs. But in this list, I pretty much focused on features that qualify for feature proposal freeze, and yeah, I think I didn't miss anything because the count pretty much matches what we did, what we counted on for the previous release. You can see it's like a lot of features. There is one or two that are major features, like big features, and a couple of driver features. So this support and review from specialists from each driver is going to be very helpful for us in this case. So and we can work on review assignments for that. Is there something else you guys would like to add for this list, or any questions you'd like to ask? Right, I'm taking the silence as though. Um, I think we can have like some organization around this. There are some features that they have their client as well, and I would say we can focus, like put the features that are have some client changes as well. We can rank them higher in our reviewer priority list, so that we can have an extra effort of trying to get the client shipped alongside the feature, because this is something that I think sometimes some people get confused with. Um, the feature freeze is also the final release for client libraries. So if your feature isn't merged by the feature freeze and the main feature in Manila, right? If it's not merged by feature freeze, and the final release for the client libraries, we get to this deadline and we ship this, then the client is going to be missing from this release. Um, of course, like we can deliver this feature and you can like bump the version of the client later on, but they won't be together at the same time. So if you would like to get the two getting released alongside, then yes, we should make an extra effort for features that also have client um, related, and then we should put some extra focus on reviewing those earlier in the cycle. I think the ones that have are shares encryption, export location metadata, and ensure shares. So these are the three changes that also come with some client-related changes. Yeah, so for the quick topics, I think that's all I had. We have plenty of features, and I was noting that like each one of them has a time estimation of like 30 minutes or something like that. So yeah, I think that will take a lot of time between today and tomorrow, and I think we can pretty much jump into them because they are also updates from the things that we discussed on the PTG. So do you have any questions or something else you guys would like to mention? All right. So taking the silence as though, I think we can pretty much end this recording here, and you can follow up in the next recordings for the collaborative reviews. The collaborative reviews will also be, as I said, some updates to what we discussed at the PTG already. So please check it out if you didn't have a chance to attend. All of the collab reviews are going to be recorded and posted in the YouTube channel, so you can catch up with the recordings and understand what was discussed and how we thought about some changes and how we are suggesting the changes that we think should be done, and also what is the idea behind the features being proposed. Right. So stopping this recording now, and let's jump right into the collab review sessions.